Hey there, I'm Ken. This is Canadian Retro Things, and I am relaxing around a campfire with my new friend, Mac. Now, just a warning here, I do not recommend taking your Mac computer out camping with you around a campfire or anything like that. That being said, the Mac Plus that I have here is a lot of fun to play with, but it could be better. So today I am going to be updating this with a little something that a good friend of mine, Sloopy Malibu, sent me, and that is the ROMinator. So let's take this inside and get to work. So the first thing I have to do to this Macintosh Plus before I do the ROMinator upgrade is I have to take this Mac apart. Now, of course, after I've got this apart, I'll talk more about the ROMinator board, like where you can get it and everything like that, and how to put it onto the board. But first, the Macintosh Plus has 5 screws that you've got to take out. One behind the battery compartment here, 2 at the bottom, and 2 underneath here. When I bought this off the guy off of Facebook Marketplace, I mentioned that I was going to be doing some work on the board, and he kindly offered to take the 2 screws out of the top here because they require a long, awkward screwdriver. So rather than me trying to figure something out to do that, he did it for me, so thanks a lot for that. The screws are just in a plastic bag, so when I'm done working on this, I can put them back in. All right, so it's a T15 screwdriver head. Now, I've never taken one of these apart, so as far as I know now, everything should just lift off. All right, after a quick Google search, I discovered that, well, I'm doing everything correct. It's just very sticky. So I brought a good friend of mine in here, Mr. Pry. Gently go around and make sure that, there we go. It was just a little bit tight. So, there we go. That is the interior of the Macintosh, and now what I need to do is get this disconnected. So, first off, so yes, on the big cable here, there seems to be a little clip at the back that's hard to reach, so I will pry it open with the screwdriver as I lift up with the other one. There we go. Got it started. So that is disconnected. That one came out a lot easier. Now, this board, I believe, should just slide out of here. With a little bit of moving. There, fits in there rather tight. There we go. Motherboard is Ouch! Now what we are going to be doing is replacing these two chips right here. So what we are going to be doing is we are going to be adding this to where these chips are. Now, fortunately, these are socketed, so you just have to pop out the high and low ROMs, and it goes in, as you can see, the high and low ROM, which means the connector will be facing this way. And you have to connect the read-write A19 and A18. If you're doing a 512 or a 128, then you also have to connect A17. So the read-write line will be connected to pin 9 on the 68000 here. A19 will be connected to 47, and A18 will be connected to 46. Now, because of how wonderful Sloopy Malibu is, who is the one that sent me this to test out, he also sent me a board with the wires already soldered on. So I just have to insert this, connect it, and plug it in. So let's hear a little bit more about the ROMinator while I do this. So what exactly is the ROMinator? Well, I guess you could think of it as a mini hard drive for your older Mac. What it's doing is it's replacing your two ROM chips with two slightly larger ROM chips that have a little extra room on them and are reprogrammable. So in that extra room, you can put things like boot files. You can put things like a few small programs, and it allows you to do some customization to your Mac on some of your startup stuff. So we'll get into that a little bit later. But you are asking yourself, where can I get one of these? Well, this particular one that I have comes from Joe's Computer Museum. So as you can see here on Joe's Computer Museum's website, which of course I will put a link down in the description, you can buy it for your Macintosh 128 or 512 or your Macintosh Plus. So those are the different configurations with the jumper switches and stuff. So let's take a look at the Macintosh Plus one. So as you can see, this is how it hooks up into your computer, just like I talked about. And of course it comes with installation instructions that give you step-by-step for both versions of it, where to solder things and everything else. And you have a download here, which it has two different things that you can download. There is a hard drive image, which gives you the ability to do some customization to everything, and I'll show you that a bit later. And it also has an updated file in here of the flash systems that you need to use. So, as of April 2024, the release from Frodo Jedi and Sloopy X Malibu, the flash tool has been updated for new flash ICs. So I believe it's 1.7 on there. So you can download that file separately, put it on a disk, and then add it to the hard drive. All right, shall we see this thing in action, whether it's going to work in my computer or not? That's always the point where you have to worry, did you break the computer, especially with these old computers, or is it going to work like it should? And now it's time to put the board back in. One of the things about it is these little grooves right here that the board fits into are really super tight. So what I did is I took Mr. Pry here and I just twisted it a little bit throughout here, just widening them all up a little bit to make it a little bit easier to get the board in and out. So got to just line up the board perfectly and start pushing it down. About here, you're going to run into your first problem. As you can see, the ROM chips are sitting up a little bit high. They're just barely touching the metal plate across the back there. So with a little bit of pressure down, you can just sneak it by. And now that it's slid past there, remember just a tiny little bit of pressure here to pull it back. I've seen other versions of this same board where it seems to sit a little bit higher and doesn't quite fit in, so you actually have to bend the clips out to get it in. But this one seems to go in just fine. And we'll just get the board the rest of the way in. And now we can reconnect these. Now this is keyed, and the connection is keyed, so you can't twist it around accidentally. Snap that into place. Snap that into place. Look at it with my magnifiers to make sure I did everything right. Yep, that is on. That is right. Now, because it's a bare board on the bottom, assuming this plastic is to keep it from making any contact with anything, so we'll just slip it back on. And we'll just slide this on for now. We're not going to put the screws back in because this particular board is untested. So let's test this out. All right, we have everything hooked up, so let's see if this board works. Oop. There are a few games on here now, and we've got the ROMinator disc, system folder, a couple games, MacWrite, MacDraw 1.95, and of course if you know the Macintosh Plus, you've actually got to load it from disk or hard drive normally. So we've now got a few things to play around with on there. All right, I have had some time to play around with this, so I think I know what I'm doing, kind of. So, when you first turn it on, it takes a second to come on, and hold R, and you can see that the icon was different than the regular Macintosh icon, and you come up with the ROMinator disc like this, which has a boot system already installed on it, and as you can see, a bunch of games. We've got Missile Command, Shuffle Puck, Klondike, Cairo Shootout, Glider, Stunt Copter, Wizard's Fire, Space Invaders, and then MacWrite and MacDraw. So basically, a little hard drive in your system now. Now, one of the nice things about that is that you've now got the boot system on there. So say if you are going to play a game, you can put that in, load it up, and it loads. which is really nice. But don't worry, if you don't want to boot from the ROMinator, like if you want to use a different system boot disk, then you can do that too. I'll just shut this down and I'll show you. So remember that when the icon comes up, it says push and hold R right now? Well, if you turn it on and don't hit R, then it just boots up normally. You get the flashing disk icon, because of course the Mac Plus doesn't have a built-in hard drive. So take a System Tools disk, and it boots up. Now, of course, if you are familiar with how the Macintosh Plus works, and you want to load a game up when you're using a boot disk like this, you put that very same game in, load it, and then you have to do a bunch of disk swapping to get it running. So that right there is a great reason to get this product. It takes away all of this annoying disk swapping you have to do when you're playing games. Now remember earlier in the video when I showed you that there was that download for a hard drive image that would give you all the tools you needed for customizing your booting up for your ROMinator. So I have put that onto my floppy emu. This was where I ran into my first problem. So it's bringing up the hard drive image, and System 7.0.1 needs more memory to start up. I've apparently not got enough memory in this computer to run this hard drive image. Fortunately, there is a workaround. Remember that system disk that I showed you earlier? Well, if you pop that in before you turn the computer on, then it boots from the disk and puts the hard drive in as a secondary disk. So, as you can see, here is the hard drive image. What you want is the BMOW, which is Big Mess of Wires, the person that was originally making this product. And on it, you have the ROMinator data and the flash tools. Now, when I downloaded this, there was only Flash Tools 1.6, but I also showed you where there was a place you could download an upgraded Flash Tools. So what I did is I just put that onto my floppy emu, then copied it onto a disk, and then when I brought up the hard drive, I could copy it over to this hard drive with the Flash Tools 1.7. So what, you may ask, does Flash Tools 1.7 do? Well, here it gives you a bunch of things that you can change. You can change the entire ROM disk image, which would be all the games and everything. Now, ROM code, it's kind of a weird way to say it, but that is your icon that comes up. Right now it's the little pirate guy, and then when you put it in a disk, it gets the wide eyes. I kind of like that, so I'm going to leave that. Startup sound, well, you can change the chime that happens when you turn your computer on. And you can change the entire ROM, which is all three things. So let's just change our startup sound. So we have to select a file. So we're in the Flash Tools folder, so we want to go back to ROMinator data, startup sounds, and I'm going to do machine gun. So we just open that. Now it tells you how big the file is right here, and this tells you what your maximum size is. So it's 15,440 bytes, and you can use one up to 28,672 bytes. So this one definitely will fit. So all you have to do is update your ROM. Now, are you sure you want to do this? Because this will actually overwrite what's on your ROM right now in that particular address. So, yes. Now you wait. And it is updated. So now, I'll restart the computer. Now I'll take my microphone off so that I can put it nice and close to the computer, so you should be able to hear this. And there you go, we had a machine gun sound. Of course it's going to fail because it's trying to boot to the hard drive. But there you go. That is using the ROMinator, updating the ROMinator, and yeah, all the cool things you can do with it. And my system now sounds like a machine gun when I turn it on. Now, of course, an interesting factoid about the Macintosh Plus is that if you shine a light in here, engraved into the back of the case here are the signatures of all the people that worked on this computer. So it's really, really hard to see because, of course, this is a dark interior and you can shine a light, but it doesn't really show up on camera. But something else you can do, you can take a piece of paper and a pencil and rub the paper with the lead. And hopefully this will show up on camera. We've got some of the signatures here, like Steve Jobs right there. Well, my good friend Mac is updated. He's got a new ball cap. Well, he's also got some really cool stuff working on the inside. So, that, yeah, what do I think of the ROMinator? I think it is really cool. Even if you're just going to be using your old Mac for playing games, then it gets rid of that need to do all the disk swapping and everything. Yeah, so the customization really can make the Mac your own. And yeah, I'm really enjoying it, and I'm looking forward to playing with it some more. So I think that if you do have one of these old Macs, you should pick one of these up because they're really not that hard to install. Just a couple of little solder points to put on, and then replace a couple chips, just straight insert into the sockets. So yeah, I guess I have nothing else to say except for a few thank yous. I have to say thank you to Frodo, Jedi, and Sloopy for making this product and supplying it to me so that I could test it out, and I think it's awesome. I also have to give a big thank you to the sponsor of my channel, Retro Rewind. They don't do Mac stuff, but if you are into old computers, you probably also like the line of Commodore computers and maybe the Coco computer, and you can get lots of cool stuff from them for those. All right, so if you're visiting Retro Rewind, also, you can use my discount code of CRT10 to save 10% at checkout. So, yeah, I am going to take my Mac back inside and play with it and have some fun. So, thanks for watching. Don't forget that a like, a subscribe, and a comment below are all things that help out the channel a lot and are greatly appreciated. But until next time, see you later.